What's up guys, Big H here. Today I'm going to be talking about my first clothing collection. I'm just going to tell the story behind all the shirts, like why I picked each person, you know, what was going through my head, and just like some funny things to look out for in all the pictures. First, we're going to start with the FaZe Banks shirt. This is the first ever shirt I made in Photoshop. So I'd messed around with shirts before, like trying to make shirts like about a year ago, but I was using GIMP, which is like a free version of Photoshop basically. And the shirts didn't come out too great. It was like one layer, like 2-layer files. But I got Photoshop, and I wanted to start getting the shirts again, so I just, you know, bit the bullet, like got a student discount on Photoshop and downloaded Adobe Cloud. So yeah, this is the first ever shirt I made in Photoshop. I chose FaZe Banks because I like play video games a lot. I'm a big gamer. So FaZe Banks is like the face of gaming. He's the face of FaZe Clan. FaZe is the first lifestyle brand to come out of video games. FaZe Temper and FaZe Banks. They grew up together, or they went to college together, and they just kind of had like similar thoughts about how like gaming has like a bad stigma of just like, you know, people in their basement eating Doritos, drinking Mountain Dew. So their goal was to change the way people's outlook on video games. So they got into trick shotting, which then like trick shotting was like combining like it was like skateboarding and video games together. So they would go for trick shots in Call of Duty, and that's like how they got their rise to fame in the beginning. And now FaZe Clan is this massive brand. They sign athletes. They sponsor athletes, rappers, pro gamers. They're the biggest esports organization, and it just all came from just two kids who grew up playing video games and a couple other things. Banks joined FaZe like 3 years after it was made, but he stuck with it and took it to big places. And so while I was designing this shirt, this is the first shirt I ever made. So I've worked with Photoshop before. When I was younger, I went to a summer camp, and one of my classes was a Photoshop class. So I had like the basic understanding of Photoshop. Like I knew how to make layers transparent and like just basic tools. I knew all the tools. I didn't have to like do that much research. I just kind of started getting into it. Went on his Instagram, found a bunch of pictures. So this is the shirt that I almost posted. Now, just something, I don't know what made me think to add another picture, but basically this is like the night before I posted it. I was like, man, something's off. And also, if you notice here, these two pictures have a totally different like position. So initially I didn't even notice that I could put him like pouring the beer on himself, but I started messing around more. Like I was like, man, I kind of want to fill up the space right here. So I ended up getting this image right here, which is from his network collab where he did a giveaway for $100,000 of sneakers. And I'm a big sneakerhead, so every picture I try to get him wearing like some cool sneakers. So he's got the Travis Scott 4s right here. He's got the off-white Blazers, and right here he's holding all the off-whites. So I was like, you know, it's just a picture that kind of fit the theme that I was going for. And with putting this picture here, it ended up making me having to move the truck, and it like perfectly positioned him like right here, with him like pouring the beer in himself and like the droplets splashing off to the left. Like I did this on basically just dumb luck, like total accident. And a lot of people who have seen this shirt, like this is kind of like the detail they appreciate the most. Like they've told me like, man, I really like how you have this right here. So just total dumb accident that I had this happen. And basically after this shirt, it like I was like, man, I kind of want to make all my shirts like this, like have just, you know, having them the pictures kind of mesh together. Like after I made this shirt, I just wanted my other shirts to kind of have the same theme of like the pictures kind of like going off on each other. So yeah, I mean, it's just total like on accident I made this happen. It's like my favorite part of the shirt too, the detail. And the story behind the text. So FaZe Banks used to vlog back in like 2017, 2018, and he was like a huge vlogger. He'd get like millions of views every time, every vlog. And he would start all of his vlogs saying, "What's gravy in the Navy, little babies?" But he would try to say it really fast, like people couldn't pick up on what he was saying, so it just sounded like gibberish. So I just wanted to add like a little homage to the days we used to vlog and just kind of upload on YouTube. And, you know, the real ones know, you know, what he's saying in the beginning, like the people who've been following for a long time. And shout out Fuller Mohegan. I used his text tutorials on getting the text right. They're just like messing with the text patterns and just like different fonts. So yeah, check out Fuller Mohegan if you want some advice on making shirts. He has really, really good YouTube tutorials, and they're all free. So yeah, that's the FaZe Banks shirt, the first shirt in the collection. We're gonna go on to the Asspizza shirt now. I decided to make an Asspizza shirt. I think one day one of his Ill Roots videos popped up in my recommended, and if you haven't seen any of the Ill Roots Asspizza videos, you should watch them because they're pretty interesting. And I think that's probably the first time I heard about him. And after just seeing him, I just thought it was such an interesting character, like this Austin Babbit guy. So I just did a bunch of research and went down a rabbit hole. Like, that's the reason I started getting into just clothing, period. Like, before this, I had, like, just, like, the same 10 shirts I would wear every week. But after finding out about Austin, I, like, found out there's a bunch of different clothing brands, like, a bunch of kids, like, young people out there trying to make their own, like, have their own source of income, like, just kind of being creative and putting their art on, selling their art on shirts. So, Asspizza is, like, the first guy that just like really got me into clothing and sneakers. Had to make a shirt paying homage to him. But yeah, Asspizza, all of his clothing he makes is one of one. Everything he makes is like he does by hand or has help on. Everything's handmade. He goes to thrift stores and paints on clothes or screen prints on them, and everything's just no one thing he makes insane. He makes patchwork pants, patchwork jeans, patchwork backpacks, patchwork wallets. Like he gets like hundreds of different articles of clothing, cuts off like squares and stitches them all together and makes these really cool like collage type articles of clothing. So yeah, I mean, he's just like a really cool artist. He makes really interesting clothes, and he just has a very like cool outlook on life. Like, he's the reason I like changed my major in college. Like he really had me thinking, like just kind of thinking bigger things. Like, he has a face tattoo that says "Follow your dreams." Like, he's just trying to show the kids that you don't have to just like settle in life. Like, you can actually like pursue something that's bigger than yourself and achieve it if you just like really work towards it and spend the time. Like, it's saying nothing matters. What he means is like, don't like ignore the haters. Like, don't think about what the people, like the negatives are going to be. Don't think about, like, don't overthink things. Like, if you overthink something, you're not going to get anywhere. So his like main saying, like one of his few sayings, is nothing matters. Like, just ignore the haters. Just do what's going to end at the end of the day make you happy, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. All right, so yeah, now for the process of me making the shirt. Like I talked about in the Banks shirt, I have him pouring. Like, I wanted to have the kind of like pouring something on again. I wanted to have him pouring, and like have kind of the images like have some sort of like logic to him. So I found this picture of him on the park bench with this old lady. So yeah, I got him pouring milk on her. But I actually streamed myself making this shirt. Twitch.tv/notbigh. For those that were in my stream watching me make it, they know the story behind this. But as you can see in the original picture, there's no bench behind Austin. Like, he's like, I don't know if he's leaning on something or like where the bench just like disappears, like the back of the bench disappears. So what I ended up doing is I just took the left side of the bench and I just copy pasted it over. Like, if you see this top of the bench, like these little nuts and bolts are not on this side. So I just copy and pasted this side right here, like just took the selection tool, just took like this chunk right here and just pasted it and just gave him a back, because it looks so weird without it. So I just like basically just thought about like how can I easily Photoshop this, and I tried to like clone stamp it, but I just literally just took this, copy, pasted it over here, and it worked perfectly. So yeah, for those that watch this video, you can kind of just appreciate the fine details of the shirt, just like kind of the clock, all the cogs and the clockwork. That's like a big reason I'm making this video, is because like when I'm trying to purchase clothes or getting into a clothing brand, I really want to know the guy behind it and kind of like what his goals are and like his intentions behind the brand are, and kind of like just like the tiny details in the shirts. So yeah, I mean, now you can just kind of appreciate the bench more. In the original picture I ripped off Instagram, there's just no bench. There's no back of the bench. The reason I always have circles on most of my shirts is because I have this NASCAR Aloe shirt that utilizes the circle, and I think it's just like a good technique to fill up kind of blank spaces. Because if you look here, it just looks kind of awkward with nothing here, and the circle kind of just like covers up like the bench, which looks a little out of place. Like, it's just kind of rectangle, like too pointy. So by adding this here, it just adds a nice little detail. And the story behind this picture, if you look really closely, his cheek's like red where he got his face tattoo. This picture was taken like 24 hours, like a day or two within him getting his face tattoo, and he went on tour with XXX Tentacion. So yeah, just like a cool moment, like taking a good picture. Like looks like it was taken like on a Polaroid or something. Like good lighting, and you can just like kind of tell that they're on a private jet. Just like a cool little a cool image to have on the shirt. Before I make all my shirts, I look up pictures. Like I have my pictures ready, and I just like knew even before I made this shirt that I had to feature that picture. And then the last bit that I want to talk about right here, this is like his signature. It's a face, but it's like if he ever makes anything, this is like the signature on it. He makes a lot of stickers. Like people, if you check his Instagram story, he'll like post just like his stickers all around New York or wherever. People place the stickers and send them to him. Send them pictures of the sticker like around their city. So what I ended up doing is I just took one of the stickers and cut it out, and the same for the text, because you can't find this text online anywhere. So what I ended up doing is I just Googled one of his shirts right here, and I just cut out the text and pasted it on the shirt. So yeah, this is basically the Asspizza shirt design. This has been my most liked shirt, and Austin actually commented on the post, so that was really cool to see, and he's cool with me selling it. I just wanted to check with him, but he said it'd be awesome. So this is the shirt that has gotten the most recognition for sure. This is the fan favorite. And now we're gonna go to the Father Steve shirt, which has been the second most well received one. Father Steve is a New York artist. His main like subject for his art pieces are mice. So he draws mice and then puts them on shirts, jackets. He sold a mystery box where you buy like a bunch of packets and you get one of these toys in them. There's different rarities, like the gold toy is the most rare, the polka dots like rarity after that, and all the other colors are just common. So he just basically makes his income off selling mice. But other than that, he's kind of known for being a comedian. Like he prank calls a lot of people. Like if you Google Father Steve prank calls, people have like uploaded his Instagram live streams of him just like trolling people, like random New York food places, just saying crazy things. So I mean, he's just like a happy-go-lucky guy. Like there's a good Ill Roots video on him too, just like showing him off. Like he supports his local businesses, like will buy a bunch of products, and he's just a funny guy. His Twitter, he'll just say random things. He's just like a child at heart. So the details in this shirt, what's funny is I posted this on Instagram and no one called it out. Like no one called out the fact that there's just like a big chunk missing out of this mouse. Like even on the shirt, like no one said anything. Like there's literally just a big chunk missing out of the mouse. And also if you look like really close, I don't even know if you can tell in here. No, you can't. Oh yeah, you kind of can. You can see this line right here. There's kind of like this outline that goes around the whole image. No one really said anything, so I fixed it in the final. Like when I sell the shirts, they're not gonna have the chunk missing. I'll show right now the final version. This is the updated version. I fixed it. But another thing is, so in the picture, so he posted a picture of the mystery toy. Like this is like one of the teaser pictures for the toys he was gonna sell, the mystery mice. And as you can see, like all the mice are like kind of standing alone. Like you can easily cut them out and paste them onto an image. But as you can see right here, the pink one is like behind the brown one and box. So it's like he's missing his whole left side of his body, and the right, like the bottom right, is like cut off by the brown mouse. So what I ended up doing is I took the blue mouse and I copy and pasted and flipped him over to the right side. And then I looked up a video like how do I just change the color of something like kind of easy, so I don't have to like go, really go into the lines. And I wanted to keep the texture and the shadows. So I found out there's this tool called the color replacement tool right here, and you literally just color over it and it makes it pink. But if you look really close, there's some blue here, as you can tell that it is from the blue one. Like I just took the blue mouse and flipped it over. And also, if you look closely in the text, it's a mouse all over print. So it's Father Steve's mice inside the text. And now this was the final version, but there was another version I was going to post, and it was this one right here. So I sent this into a group chat of some people who like Austin Babbit and Asspizza and those kind of guys. And I was like, what do you guys think of this picture? They're like, oh, it's a little boxy. And one or two of the guys said that I should make it like a little bit more fluid. So this is what I almost posted. And I was like, okay, I'll kind of change it. Because I was trying to go for kind of like a Grateful Dead vibe, where it's like, has a bunch of mice, just like the Grateful Dead has a bunch of bears. So I ended up doing this one. This one just came out better. I just was happy with this kind of look. And for those who looked close enough, you actually can see here that the orange mouse right here, like his leg is missing. So to avoid like just it looking weird, I just paired him up right on top of the orange mouse, and it kind of just blends right in. Just two little things people didn't really notice was his leg getting cut off and the chunk missing here. So that's like another thing I want to say to the people who try to get into designing. Like, don't worry about have nice detail, but don't worry too much about like the tiny things and like think people are gonna notice it, because a lot of the time they don't. Like, really just get it to a point where you're content and you've put in enough time to where people won't. There won't just be a bunch of like terrible edges and stuff. So also in this picture, I was gonna try to have him like sitting on a car. Like I was planning on using this image. He has the cactus plant flea market blazers on. I have a pair of these, so I was really trying to feature this picture of him and sitting on a car. But basically the shirts don't always work out perfectly how I want them. It's kind of a process of trial and error, and then eventually I get to a point where I'm just content with the shirt. Basically once I think it's done, it's done, but there's many times where I look at it and I know there's still more work to be done. But yeah, that's my second shirt. Father Steve liked it. He said clean. It was awesome to see that too. It was cool to see Asspizza and Father Steve both like their shirts. Like, really, really helps me with my self-doubt, because sometimes you make a shirt and you're just like not sure how it's going to be received. But just another piece of advice I would make is just when you think it's done, it's done, and don't think about don't worry about other people's thoughts. Like, just put out the shirt and move on to the next one. Don't like reflect on it too much. Just get to a point where you're happy with it. But yeah, that's been the Father Steve one. This is the second most well received one for sure. The Asspizza and Father Steve one really did well. And now we're gonna go on to the last shirt, the Sheck Wes shirt. So the reason I wanted to make a Sheck Wes shirt is because, as you can see right here, he's friends with Asspizza. He's friends with Austin. They were like in their teenage years. They were hanging out. They're just friends together, both being artists. They just meshed. So, and then in 2016, Sheck Wes's mom convinced him to go to Africa, and she told him it was only going to be like for a couple days or something. And he ended up getting like stuck in Africa like for months. Like, his mom took his visa, like basically trapped him in Africa as like punishment, because he was a model during this time and he was just kind of like upsetting his parents, like kind of going down his own path. So his parents sent him to Africa to try to like straighten him out. And during that time, Asspizza started a hashtag Free Sheck Wes. So they've been friends for a good bit, through thick and thin, and way before Mo Bamba or any of his songs, or before he was picked up by a label. So, they're actually like good friends. So I wanted to make a shirt of him, and after I watched the No Jumper podcast about Sheck Wes, like, I really just kind of appreciated his come up and his story. He skipped modeling for Easy Season 2 because he had a playoff basketball game in high school, but he skipped another game. He skipped like a playoff game a year down for Easy Season 3. But it's just like he just lived like a really interesting life, just growing up in New York and Milwaukee. Pretty interesting guy. And now for the details in the shirt. This is the main one. So this is the shirt that I made the fastest. I think I made this shirt in like 3 hours. like start to finish. Like I haven't touched it since I posted it. And if you look right here, this door looks mangled. Like the door looks like it got like smashed or something. But that's not how it looks in the original. In the original, they have like this right here. It's on Instagram, like the scroll to the next picture. So I just used the content aware removal tool, and they ended up kind of like janking up the door. So what I ended up doing is I literally just faded the door on the right side, and now you really cannot tell. Like basically only if you see this video you're gonna know this tiny detail right here. The fade, like the gradient tool, is super helpful for just like kind of making things blend in and mesh. For the text, I just found like a mud pattern, just put it in, and then for the text down here, I just ripped it off his album cover, and then added like some effects to it. But yeah, that's pretty much the Sheck Wes shirt. So yeah, I made a video basically going into like kind of how I made it. Like I went into more detail about like cutting out the images and the techniques I used. So if you want to see that type of video, more kind of like step-by-step video of like my process of making shirts, because this, like I said earlier, this is my first ever Photoshop shirt. Like I'm very, very new to the game, and these are my projects. So I definitely want to make some tutorial videos, but I just want to make sure that people out there want to see it. I don't know if I don't know what y'all want to see from me, so you got to let me know. I just wanted to make this video to tell the story behind the shirts, just so y'all can appreciate the fine details and kind of understand like what I was thinking, why I picked these people. But yeah, I'm calling this collection the Mentor Collection, because kind of all these people have just like changed my thought process and have helped me kind of think for myself and think on my own. Growing up, there's just a lot of people telling me there's a path that one should follow, and just kind of a lot of people do it, and I wasn't really happy. I was studying computer science, and it was just kind of a grind, and I was just doing it because I basically knew I had a guaranteed source of income. But kind of after like just going on the internet and doing research, I found there's people out there who just found a passion and made a living off it. So I wanted to pay homage to him. So yeah, this collection's coming soon. Let me know in the comments what kind of videos you want to see or what shirts you want to see next. Collection 2, believe it or not, is already done. I'm working on Collection 3 right now. See ya.